Hello, my name is Katelyn Contreras, and today I'm going to be doing my presentation on the 1906 San Francisco earthquake. So to start off, I'm going to give some earthquake facts. This earthquake took place on April 18th in 1906 at 5:19 a.m. with a magnitude of 7.9. It has been known that this earthquake was so loud and shook so much that it sounded like 10,000 lions, and I think that's like a really fun fact. There had been earthquakes in the past in San Francisco, but this one was by far the most devastating for its time, and it's one of the most famous earthquakes in California simply because it was one of the most big. And a lot of our scientific knowledge about earthquakes in general have come from this earthquake because of how much destruction it had created. It has also been known to have been felt in Oregon, Los Angeles, and in central Nevada because of the size of this earthquake. So here are some short-term and long-term effects of the earthquake. There were 3,000 plus deaths in the result of this natural disaster, 28,000 buildings that had been demolished, and $500 million worth of damage. The buildings had been ruined not only from the shaking, but from the wild spreading of the fires that were started because of the earthquake, and this resulted in 250,000 being left homeless after the natural disaster. Some of the long-term effects and results include it allowed a lot of refurbishment in the city. That's something a lot of people don't really think of, but this is in a whole a good thing. San Francisco became widely popular after the gold age, after the gold rush, and they had built many buildings haphazardly and with not much organization, and it wasn't very logical. And so with the burning of all the buildings, it had created a time for them to rebuild and refurbish in a more organized manner. And so again, the thing that had created the most damage wasn't the earthquake, which most people may believe. It was actually the fires. The fires had happened from the shaking, and because of all the shaking and the destruction from the earthquake, it had ruined the city's water networking and the pipes. And this is why when firefighters came to try to put out the fires, they couldn't. There was no water, and there was no technology at that time to put out fires in any other way besides the water networking that they had. So these fires lasted for 4 days, and they had to wait for natural rainfall to extinguish the fire. So I found this really interesting video from the Library of Congress. Well, that's where it's placed now, and I have it on YouTube. Here's the link. I'm only going to show about a minute of it just because it's a bit long. The original film that was found is about 2 hours long, and this video is so interesting because they caught what San Francisco looked like before the natural disaster had happened as well as after. So I'm going to go ahead and play that. And this video was found at a flea market, which I find such a great coincidence, and now we get to look at this for the rest of history. You can see people just walking around. Almost all the buildings are destroyed. All right, I think that's all I'll show for now. It is on YouTube, and there's longer clips besides the one I had shown. But I think it's a great video, and it's very interesting to see from such it's not that long, but from a long time ago to see that the film that they do have, and it had only been found recently, I would want to say about like 3 years ago they found it and someone preserved the film. And in conclusion, because of this earthquake, we do have knowledge of the San Andreas Fault, and it helped confirm the elastic rebound theory from Reed, which explains how energy is stored within our plates and causes earthquakes. So this in all was a great thing, so that we can have the knowledge that we have today about earthquakes, especially living in California and not so far from San Francisco. Us being in LA is, it's great that we have that, and it can keep us prepared and aware of the damage that earthquakes and fires can have on us. So I hope you enjoyed. I know I wish I could talk more. I wish I had a longer time limit, but thank you for listening, and I hope you found that video as interesting as I did. All right, thank you.